mistakes? Should I remind you that I've done this before? Want to see my shiny new shoes? Just sell shoes, shiny new shoes. Maybe I should just disappear. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I led you to believe it was easy when it wasn't. Maybe I made you think my highlights started at the free throw line and not at the gym. Maybe I made you think that every shot I took was a game winner. That my game was built on flash and not fire. Maybe it's my fault that you didn't see that failure gave me strength, that my pain was my motivation. Maybe I led you to believe that basketball was a God-given gift and not something I worked for. Every single day of my life. Maybe I destroyed the game. Or maybe you're just making excuses. If you really want it. If you really want it. This really is me. Life is tough. That's a given. When you stand up, you're going to be shoved back down. When you're down, you're going to be stepped on. My advice to you doesn't come with a lot of bells and whistles. It's no secret. You'll fall down, you'll stumble, you'll get pushed, you'll land square in your face. But every time that happens, you get back on your feet. You get up just as fast as you can, no matter how many times you need to do it. Remember this. Success has been and continues to be defined as getting up one more time than you've been knocked down. If experience has taught me anything, it's that nothing is free and living ain't easy. Life is hard.
Okay, this is Joe Radcott from the Spirit to talk to you about leadership and envisioning yourself in leadership positions. Okay.
If you guys give a hand for Wheatley for putting this on, Brittany and everyone else. Thanks, Brittany. I worked with it last year. It's a really awesome thing. I'm not sure if Dave had showed up yet or said hi or whatever, but Dave is a phenomenal speaker, and all the speakers here are really, really great. It's going to be a really good day for everybody. And just to get started, as a thank you, I'm going to tell you what, I'll give someone 2 jars of Nutella. Speakers guys feel like showing up, so who wants them? Yay! All right, everyone, give it a hand for being brave. You're getting 2 jars of Nutella. So is it fair to say that he has way more courage than anyone else in this room? That he's a much better leader, that he has much more capacity than anybody else in this room? So why did he get up and no one else felt like getting up? Get what is retail value of $11.96 for Nutella? Because he wanted it enough, clearly. So he saw the whole picture. He saw that Nutella and was like, what? I want that Nutella. And so he came up and he got it because he wanted it. Because he didn't see himself sitting there saying, I really want that, but I'm not willing to get up out of my chair just to get it. And I feel like that's kind of like our generation's mentality. Is just, well, you know, why isn't tuition cheaper? Why isn't all this stuff cheaper? Why don't we have all these free and universal things that we can have in our country just to do stuff? Not everything is going to be handed to you. saw the entire picture. He was able to envision himself. And one thing that I really want to talk about today is literally envisioning yourself. And what happens is we kind of get stuck in this rut of we make a plan, but we don't set goals for ourselves. And we don't really stop and look at ourselves and say, well, this is where I was a few months ago. And this is where I am now. This is where I see myself being now. And then I see myself kind of doing something in the future, but I don't really know what. And you have to be able to stop and say, what am I doing now? Where do I want to be? What do I want to do? And what am I doing right now that is going to let me get to that level of success? What is going to let me get there? Envision, en in Spanish, means in, on, or at. And what we're going to look at today is kind of like a look at my life, but you can definitely apply whatever you see in your life. We're going to look at the act of where I was, where I wanted to be, where I am now, and how I see myself increasing my capacity to get where I want to be, do what I want to do, and then see myself there, where I want to be. And so, this all kind of starts with this man named Mr. Mason. But before I get to him, this is kind of where I was at. That I went to Australia when I was 16. It was an amazing experience. I got to go to this group called People to People. We got to hang out with kangaroos for pretty much the whole day. It was awesome. I actually took a picture of one sleeping like that, but I couldn't find the picture because it was adorable. I played bass for a few years. I'm involved with Cat Camp. I was in Halloween on Luigi. Because growing up, my brother always wanted to be Mario, and that really, really upset me. But then I realized, like, just accept who you are. Be the Luigi. And then, so I worked with Habitat for Humanity, and I have a Boulder. And we actually took that picture for our friend Nate. He was the ambassador here for Monster. He was here. He was the BMX rider last year, and he gave us a ton of free Monster, and pretty much just said, just go nuts, but just bring back pictures of it. So we tried to take as many cool pictures as we could. And then I kind of thought, well, maybe I want to be a Monster ambassador too, because I can just do awesome stuff like that. So we're going to talk about Mr. Mason. There's a picture of Dr. Eggman, if you know Dr. Eggman from Sonic, because he literally looked like Dr. Eggman, and it was really, really awkward. Because he had these kind of thin legs, and he had this like huge bottom, and he used to do this thing called a function dance. I kid you not. He would do like absolute value of x cubed, x squared, negative x squared, and he'd kind of do this dance along with it, and it was embarrassing. Like, dude, we're 16, we don't need to be seeing someone doing a function dance in order to show us what to do. But out of all the teachers that I've ever had in my entire career, middle school and high school, he was the only person who ever challenged me, so much to the point that he stopped me, and it was one of those kind of moments in my life. And then he said, Joe, when are you going to start this assignment? Like, I was really doing it, it's calculus. I don't know what are the odds of someone stopping me in an alley being like, can you use the shell methods and find the integration? It's like, that's really not going to happen in my life. But he told me, when are you going to get started on it? And I'm like, I'm already started on it. He says, no, Joe, when are you going to start? And it really took me back, and I said, well, what? And he said, when are you going to start? And it completely changed my life. Because I started to think I was too busy envisioning myself of what I was in the past and always having to compliment what I was consistently doing and not changing myself, and I wasn't seeing myself where I wanted to be. I was seeing myself where my parents wanted to be, where my teachers wanted me to be, and I wasn't envisioning myself what I want to do. It was what everyone else wanted me to do. But nonetheless, I said, well, I have gotten started, so I really know what he's talking about. I don't really need to be envisioning myself, and that led me to be a douchebag. So did everybody say douchebag on 3 with me? 1, 2, 3, douchebag. I was a douchebag in high school because I realized this is Spencer Pratt. This is you could rocking a boombox at a red carpet event. This is pretty much like the douchiest thing that you could probably do. And I was just such a douchebag in high school, and I was just too busy trying to be who everyone wanted me to be and trying to fit in and try to conform to all this stuff, and yeah, that's really important in order for you to fit, you know, to not feel isolated in high school. But I was just so consumed in just trying to be somebody else that I didn't realize. See, nobody told me this in high school, but I figured out that I had a really, really nice car sitting in my garage. My entire life. No one told me, like, hey Joe, there's this really nice car just kind of hanging out in your garage. And I got really, really upset because the whole time, this car was sitting in my garage at my house. You guys know what this car is? It's a BMW. Do you know what exactly it is? It's a 760Li sedan. And just to kind of show you, this is the interior of the car. It was just sitting at my house. Every day I got up, kind of went to the bus stop, got on the bus, went to school, kind of went through the motions, came back, got off the bus, walked home, and every single day I just kind of went through the motions and just kind of, you know, lived. But this car was just sitting in my garage, and I was so upset when I found out about it. Let me just give you some stats on this car. It's 535 horsepower, V12 turbo engine. It's got an ice cream paint job, and if you don't get that, you don't get the song. It's got a baller license that comes standard. It's redeemable at any circumstance ever. All right. This car is, I mean, just look. All right. Starting price is $137,000. Starting price is $137,000. It was sitting in my garage. Look, if you want to buy the strip model of this car, it's $137,000 for this car. And it was sitting in my garage the entire time. Because I was too busy not looking at my potential. Because people said, Joe, you're going to grow up and you're going to do great things, and there was like these really vague, like, generic things. Oh, thanks, Grandma, you know. But no one said, Joe, you have all of this potential. You just need to start. Doesn't matter where you are in that process of envisioning yourself. You just have to start. And there wasn't actually this car sitting in my garage. It's clearly a metaphor. But I had all this potential. And no one said, Joe, you can do whatever you want to do. You just need to start envisioning yourself. You need to see yourself with what you want to do and not what everyone else wants you to do. You need to look at yourself right now and say, what am I doing right now? What am I doing in the next 30 minutes? What am I going to do today that's going to get me to where I want to be? Because I want to take myself to a whole other level of success. And if you want to do that, you have to stop and say, where am I? What have I been doing? And how am I going to get to where I want to be? So we're going to look at where I am now, where I envision myself being. Right now, I'm struggling with a lot of things. Obviously, I'm a Facebook addict, through and through. It's pretty horrible. Like, I get back to my room and just have to throw my keys down, sit down, and see what's everyone else doing, you know, because I just clearly don't have a life or something. I'm extremely unorganized, and it's really, really hard for me to just kind of sit down and just make an agenda and just say, let's go through this, and this today in order to get to where I want to be. And I'm from Baltimore, and I'm really, really struggling with trying to find my identity of being here in Cullowhee, and that if you walk around just constantly rocking, you know, Orioles or Ravens paraphernalia, you're not really going to get the full experience. You're not going to be able to envelop yourself into a different culture and to say, well, I'm in the mountains now. I'm not. I'm 572 miles away. Not saying I just need to drop everything that I'm doing and just, you know, just do everything that everyone does here, but I need to be able to envision myself being a person from here. Not saying, well, I'm from Baltimore, but I live in Cullowhee. Just saying, from the we. And getting that sense of identity, envisioning myself 2 years from now, when people say, what, you're from the we? Like, yeah, dude, it's crazy. Being able to do that. So, a lot of it comes down to capacity. And the capacity to do and to go. And it just comes down to that. So, what I want to do now is, if anybody wants to volunteer, Nutella, okay, Serena. So, we're going to have 3 different levels of capacity. So, what's going to happen is, these 3, and yes, this is My Little Pony stickers on this little mini Nalgene. So, you're going to have to figure out how to drink that while I'm pouring this into it. But these jugs of water are going to represent life. Because life is going to come at you, and you're not really going to know what to do a lot of the time. And you need to have the capacity to deal with it and to do and to go. So, you get to college, and you take a lot of classes, and you're doing a lot. So, teachers. And you realize, yeah, it's just, I got all these things that I'm doing, and I'm really getting involved now. So, what are some things that you guys here do at college? Work out. Okay. So you're going to be working on your physical fitness. What else?
I'm also an employee at UC.
Employee of the UC. Okay. What else?
Intramural sports.
Intramural sports. You're in intramural sports, right? All right. What else? Studying. You guys got to do a lot of studying, right? So, hold up. Put it down. So what happened? It overflowed. Why? Yeah, but that's just life. I have no control over that. Because this is a different level of capacity. So now let's look at this level of capacity. Right now we're still going to be really, really inefficient with this. Good luck. So, obviously right now we get to college. Okay. So we're in college and we're doing our work and we're trying to get involved and stuff. So what are some of the things that we need that we do while we're here at college?
Greek life.
Greek life. We're in Greek life. Are you in Greek life?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. What sorry? Alright, what else? Volunteering. You do a lot of volunteer work, right? What else? Organizations. We're always trying to be a part of different organizations. Are we an officer in that organization? Well, that's going to be a lot more you're going to have to do, right? I'm not holding it. You hold it. It's your capacity. What? What's some more things? Because this person has a little bit more capacity, so we're going to, obviously this person is going to be a lot more involved and be doing a lot more things. So what are some few other things? Even if they're random, just to get this thing to spill. Athletes. So I'm not going to let this one overflow because it would be ridiculous. So obviously you can see this person has filled their cup. So now let's take a leader, a person who was much more efficient. Yeah, this is definitely, it took a lot of hard work to do. Believe it or not, this was actually really hard to do. It was really hard to do, okay? But, so this person is obviously much more efficient than this having, hey guys, what's up? Than that little thing. This thing is a lot more efficient. So, we get to college, right? So this person is obviously going to college, they're doing the work, they're getting their studying in. All right, so what else are some things that we do here at college? Work. We're employees, right? Let's just say that you have a whole lot of work. This person has a lot more capacity. So this person's going to be able to do a whole lot, right? So let's see, Greek life. You're in Greek life, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of responsibility. Okay. So already they're at a half gallon. They're already higher than this person, and she's just pretty much just chugging. So what else?
Go to church.
Church. You go to church, right? Gotta go up.
Community service.
Once or twice a week, community service. You're a volunteer. You're doing something. You're helping out the community. Good stuff. Socializing. You gotta be a social person, right?
Already trying to find a summer job.
Trying to find a summer job, doing interviews, doing all that stuff.
Or even cat and mouse when you go to the basketball game.
Athletics.
Wait, we say class yet?
Yeah. It's pretty much college is just assuming that you're going to class and doing the work, in theory.
Humans versus zombies.
Just no. I mean, I can't really think of anything else, but I mean, this person, we could just, you're in an organization, You might even be an officer of that organization. And you know, this person is already up to a gallon at this point, and they even have a handle to hold it with. This thing is pretty sturdy. If you were to drop that, this would shatter, because it's that thick glass, but it's BPA free. So if you were to drop that, it would break, shatter. You know, this thing is just flimsy. It's horrible. And that is sturdy, though. The capacity of this person, yeah, thank you. And you can, that's some intelligence. Wait! Yeah. Everybody give her, So, you have to look at the different levels of capacity that you have and that you experience. And that it can be dynamic and that you have to be consistent when you do and when you go to keep this level of capacity. Because if you're here or here, you know, people who are always talking about people, they don't really feel like doing anything, you know, they really don't want to go to class, but they have to do all this stuff, and all of a sudden, when they have a research paper due, their cup gets overflown, as you see. And overflow could be mental breakdown, it could be you have to stop and, you know, prioritize all the, you know, different things in your life, and it just really, really varies. But this person's capacity is a lot higher. But you want to aim to be efficient, and you want to aim to be a person that has a lot of capacity to be able to do and to go while you're here at college. So, we're going to talk about smartphones. For some reason, as I kind of keep bragging on our generation, we just have this inability to cope with, who here has a smartphone? Okay, first person who can look up, who was the 1995 shortstop for the Warriors?
What did you say? Who was the what?
Shortstop for the Warriors, 1995.
How do you spell Warrior? Just type in.
Kind of like Oreo. A little bit of
It's a lot different. I don't have a smartphone, so I don't know how to do this.
Or it'd be Cal Ripken.
What?
1995.
Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken, shortstop for the Orioles in 1995. Is that confirmed?
Yeah, I would think that.
And how long did that just take? Yeah. And what are you going to do with that knowledge now that you have it? What are you going to do? Okay, cool, you guys. Yeah. You just go on Facebook. Guess who the shortstop was in 1995, you guys? Because like you have to put 50 exclamation points and put everything like it says convert everything to capitals. You just hit that cap lock and just go nuts. I know who it is, you guys. And that's not going to do you any good. Because accumulating knowledge is a great thing, but you have to be able to implement that. That's the reason that you go to school, is to be able to implement what you learn while you're here at college. It's not just to get all this information, Yeah, maybe it might be cool to take jazz appreciation, which you should take, it's awesome. But that's not really going to help me increase my capacity. That's just something that I enjoy doing. But in your major, if you're not putting in the time, if you're not putting in the work, you're not going to be able to implement what you learn. And you're just going to accumulate all that and just keep it. And being able to implement that is going to bring you to that next level of success. So, who's this person? Bob Moog. It's a Moog. It's pretty awesome. But does anybody know what his hand is over top of? It's called a theremin. You guys know what a theremin is? It was developed by the Russians, and what happened was, I guess this was kind of pre-Cold War, when tensions were rising and stuff, but pretty much what this thing does is it emits, I guess echolocation, I really don't know what else to call it, but it pretty much sends these pulses, and when it hits an object, it bounces off. And when it hits faster back to the receiver where it came from, it creates a high pitch. And when you move it away, it creates a low pitch. So he was able to take his hands and make music with that. And this was in the 50s. And this was when he was 17 years old. And this was for a science fair project. And somewhere between now and then, You know, for some reason, we kind of do stuff like this for our science fair projects, to where we're like 16, 17, 18, we're learning physics, we're learning all these incredible things, and we just don't implement it. And all we have to do is just be creative and just say, well, I can do this, 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 and this. If I want to envision myself doing incredible on this, I can do this now. And I should have been doing that, but that's okay, because I can start doing this now to be able to have, you know, something that stands out, and not just what happens when you shock a cat, you know. My science fair project was shooting a bow into a target to see how far it goes in. It's not going to help me in life, you know. Not that this is necessarily going to help you in life, but it's just, if you want to have that capacity, you need to be able to envision yourself where you want to be. So, does anybody know? This person published 16 books that have photography, interactive books. This person had they won 9 or 10 awards, nominated for about 20, 25 more. They were in about 30 different movies. Their discography, they worked with Buckethead, he's a guitarist. He helped make 7 avant-garde style CDs. He's fluent in 5 languages. He received an honorary doctorate from St. Lawrence University, and he was awarded the Order of the Dannebrog Knight's Cross, which is kind of like being knighted in England, but it's what happens when you're in Denmark to get this kind of award. Does anybody know who this is? The guy who was Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, going up, cutting down works and stuff. Yeah, this is Viggo Mortensen. And he didn't start with anything more than we kind of start out with in life. You know, he had a pretty good family, he had, you know, a decent amount of money, but he's only like 53. And he's done all of this. Because he has the capacity to do and to go. And he envisioned himself saying, what am I doing right now that is going to make me successful? I need to be able to, you know, if I want to get to this level of success, I need to be able to see myself there. And if you don't see yourself there, you're really just setting yourself up for failure. And so this is one of the quotes that he had that really, he's a big inspiration to me. In that there's just absolutely no excuse for boredom. That people, you know, all the time on Facebook, they'll get on and they'll say, there's nothing to do in the Wii. It's so dumb. There's nothing to do. Like people today, they're going, I just want to sleep in. There's going to be nothing to do. But if you sleep in, you're envisioning yourself being a sleeper, taking naps all the time, which naps can be they can be really productive. But you know, you're just not seeing yourself at a certain level of success that you want to be able to reach. Because right now you're saying, I want to be there, but I'm just going to sleep, you guys. It's like, well, if there's nothing to do, why not make something to do? Not necessarily pull a fire alarm or something, because that's really, really annoying when that happens in Balsam at 3 o'clock in the morning. A week ago. But I just hate that people confuse taking your creativity and mashing it and structure. Because in kindergarten, what was the first thing that they taught you when you were coloring? Outside the lines. And we took that as, we can't color outside the lines, this is going to be the worst thing ever, because now we can't be creative and, you know, but what they just meant was, they wanted to provide you with discipline and structure to say, you should probably draw inside the lines if you want to make a pretty picture, but you don't have to. And some people said, you have to. And between then and our senior year of high school, everything was just spoon-fed to us. And I held Nutella, and people raised their hand expecting me to walk over and be like, okay, I just went out and bought this yesterday, I'm just going to give it to you, okay? You know, but that's just not how it works. All they had to do was just go and get it, because it was right there. But for some reason, we just have this inability just to be creative and just say, well, what if, you know, I can draw outside the lines and I can make a new different style of art? How many people here think they're an artist? How many people have the ability to draw? Everybody's hands should be up. You can literally move your hand across the page. And if you can do that, you're an artist. But people have told you you're not an artist. You need to go to art school, totally different thing. You need to go to, you know, some school out in Ohio, you need to go to, you know, New York, you need to go to this really, really institutionalized form to teach you to be creative. But I'm an artist. do anything because I envision myself doing that, but also because nobody's going to say, hey, you can do this, but not good enough to be at a certain level. You're right. I'm not a good artist, but I can be a better artist. And you can constantly get better. So as you can see, this is where I envision myself being. Because right here, it shows that I'm going to be the first person in my family to get a master's degree. I'm going to be the first person to get a doctorate because I want to get to that new different level of success. Over there you can see I'm going to be the second person to own their own business in my family. My dad does taxidermy, which people have families known as a bad family. He does taxidermy, but I'm going to open up my own climbing gym, and you can see the design right there. What's going to happen is there's going to be a lead route, and if you see the taller routes in the gym, there's going to be a waterfall that's going to come over top of them. They have to climb up underneath of it, as you can see the design right there. And you need to be able to look at this blank canvas and envision what level of success that you want to be and paint it. Because I cannot do that for you, and you cannot do that for each other. You need to be able to do that yourself and just say, I can look at that and say, I know exactly where I want to be. Because every day, I have the opportunity to be exactly where I want to be to make my dream become a reality. And if you get to that level of success, if you get to that mentality that I just need to go and do, then you'll be able to get there. And no one can do that for you. So, I just want to leave with saying, my life motto is don't reach back. But you say, well, Joe, you just said envision yourself in the past and look where you were, and you're saying don't reach back. Because there's a difference. I wrestled my freshman and senior year of high school, and my grandma died my junior year. And towards the end, I had to help take care of her for the last few days, and because my grandfather didn't have the strength to pick her up and move her. She was in her second round of chemotherapy, and she had developed Alzheimer's. Now what happens is, you don't have short-term memory, or maybe you don't have long-term memory, you don't remember certain people. And she knew exactly who I was. And she knew pretty much everyone in the family, but she was convinced that I was only there for like 10 minutes, but it was constant. So, we'd be halfway in the middle of a conversation, she'd say, Joseph, how have you been? I'm like, I'm doing good. And I would just lose my mind because she was excited all the time because it was like, imagine just not seeing someone for a month, and the reaction that you get was constant. So it was like, this is awesome. I didn't know what to do with myself. And she got looped onto two different phrases. She would just say, you're my Joseph. You're my Joseph. I love you. You're my Joseph. And she would say, in wrestling, don't reach back. Just don't reach back. Don't you reach back. Don't reach back. They're going to put your arm in an arm bar and throw you on that, and you're going to count the lights on the ceiling of that gym. You're just going to count all those lights. Don't reach back. Because in wrestling, when you reach back, they're going to put you in some ridiculous thing and pin you. And so I kind of took that as, well, think about this. If you have a girlfriend right now, boyfriend, and you decide, you know what? I'm just going to rekindle the last relationship that I was in and just see how that works out, so then I can pick between the two. Does that go over really well? Maybe for Mormons. I don't know if we have any Mormons in here. But that's just not going to happen. To look and say, you know what? I'm just going to drop out of college, just going to go back and just try to relive high school, just see if I can do it. Well, you can't reach back. You can look back and say, I did this, and I did this, and now I can do this now to be at the level of success that I want to be at. But just don't reach back. And these are some resources. Bubble.us, I don't know if you guys remember in like second grade making those kind of spider web things on like yellow paper, but this is like a digital version of that you just kind of pop up, you hit start brainstorming, and you can put something in the middle, such as what I want to see in my significant other. And then you just start putting little lines up front and just saying, want them to be smart, want them to be funny, want them to be, have a good sense of humor, understand sarcasm, just different things like that. And Bubble.us is an awesome resource to be able to do that. And then TGIM, Eric Thomas is the hip-hop preacher, the inspirator, the motivator. He's a really, really cool guy. Every Monday, he has a 10 or 15-minute kind of speech. He's a very, very, very passionate guy. He's also a preacher. But he has a thing called Thank God It's Monday. Because you earn the money on Monday that you get to spend on Friday. Don't say, thank God it's Friday. I get to live for 2/7 of the week now. when I wasted 5 sevenths trying to live for 2 sevenths of the week. You gotta get rid of that mentality and just say, thank God it's Monday. I get to achieve this level of success that I want to be at. I get to do exactly what I want to do and be exactly where I want to be. And I start earning now for 5 sevenths of the week so I can play for 2 sevenths and not play for 5 sevenths so you can play for 2 sevenths. So again, my name is Joe. Thank you guys so much for letting me speak today. Thank you. You guys have any questions?